So let's kind of sort it out about this planning map. I think there are several elements that we have to pay attention to: the functionality, the narrative, roles, history, weather, topographic, geometry, and cultural. So let's take the roles and culture first. Take a look at this map planning. I think it's a console or PC AAA game like stuff. But we always have map planning. So what is the culture behind this map? They will always have this kind of top view. So where is the political center? I think it's at this place, and down there they have a road. So based on Chinese history, the political center, the building should be on the highest place. According to this specific map, I think it should be a Kung Fu sect. So the highest building should be some meeting place, and the small buildings around should be some functions, blacksmiths, potion shops, schools, training center, clothes shops. Players can play around with the second members, the NPCs. And down here, outside, there's a dog. So we can see there are a lot of numbers on them. They all should have their own functions. So a formal game should have this kind of plan. We take a look at the left picture, top wheel. It will guide the other artists what to do. And on the right hand, we have this kind of asymmetric map. Thanks to the concept art, they will give this effect, which helps the 3D artists in level designing part. They will have a very clear guide from this picture. So if you can have this kind of asymmetric view of the map, it's a good thing. Okay, let's take another picture. This is also a kind of famous project in China. You can see there's a view of the whole thing. And it also has some road plan of this map, and also some very important NPCs place. And there are reference of the different buildings, residential area, the water system should be like. Let's take a look at the right picture. It's also asymmetric. It has the terrain, it has the road design, and this is more formal, more clear to see, to watch. Right now, let's talk about history and geography. Let's take a look at Tsushima Island. This Ghost of Tsushima game is very serious about geometry. If you have played this game, let's see this actual map of island Tsushima. There is an island. It has two islands, the upper island and lower island. This is the real map of that. And this is the game map in Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's almost like 90-80% of similarity to the actual geography. So when you play this game, it feels so real. So it's very serious about geometry. So let's see the history of Ghost of Tsushima. It's based on the war between Mongol and Japan. In Chinese, we call it 元日战争. So the Yuan dynasty, Mongolia, and Japan have a war. Mongol invades Japan. It really happened in 13th century. That area in Japan is Kamigura Shogunate. In that period, Japanese armor, weapons, and architecture have their own styles. So the game is very serious. They're all based on the history and make all the different arts. So when the players are playing this game, you feel very real. They see this environment, the characters, the costumes, the weapons. It's actually like you were in this war. So for level artists, the planning map is for them to have a unified plan for non-artistic contents before production phase, in order to make the art have its own skeletons and logics, so players will have a more immersive feeling. The thing will be more believable. But it's just like in some movies. Why you see some actors feel not in the movie? It may be because of the costume, the design, the makeups wrong. Why some old kung fu TV drama feels so cheap? Because they do not have a solid research of the costumes, the culture, and maybe because of the lack of funds and time to make it good. Okay, let's take another example. This building concept art is kind of very typical online. They are designing the things for only its own good looking on the picture. It was designed as a candy workshop. So what does he do to emphasize this is a candy shop? He just simply put big scale candies, candy jars, lollipops onto the roof. I think if there's somebody to point out these designs, at first glance, I think the picture itself looks good. You might think this is a good design, but from a perspective view, you can see the passage along that. There are candies, and there are big candy jars, and there is even a vending machine of candy there. If the character can climb up the roof, you can also see there are a lot of candies. I just felt weird. A sense of wholeness is not enough in this design. So let's take it apart. There is also a point I like in this design is the top part. There is a candy jar-like element there. It lets you to understand this is a place about candy, which I like. But let's talk about the functionality. This is a candy workshop. I don't know if you have seen this movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They are all placed to make candies. I see this movie's design of the factory. If you still remember this movie, Charlie's Chocolate Factory, the factory from outside is a very typical industrial building, very dull, steamy. It's a factory like. I must need some power source, and there's a pollution maybe from the chimneys. The picture looks cold and dull. But if you come inside this factory, there's a room for demonstration. Everything is edible. It's chocolate. It's candy. The brown earth is made of chocolate. The river is made from chocolate syrup, and other plants from other kind of candies. This design is so impressive. Very good imagination ability. And if you remember this movie, they ate some of these plants. And this part is also the nicest room of this whole factory. And the other rooms are different. And from this showroom, and the next part is our development and research department. You can see there are many very exaggerated flags and beakers to do all the chemical experiments. You can imagine they are doing all the new products development from this place. there are steam, there are machines in the backgrounds, and also if they have the failures of the products, they will come to this room to throw away these failures. You can call this some kind of a quality control that let this little man with this yellow shirts throw the failures away. And the next part, this I think is the production line. They let many squirrels to peel off the shell of the nuts. So the whole process, you from the showroom to R&D room to the quality control to its production line. This is a good factory example. So let's come back to this a workshop or a factory. Maybe the workshops is a small canned factory. They all do the whole process, but in a relative small place. So small as it is in my eye, the workshop is just can do the things the factories do. They all should have a stockroom or warehouse, the raw material treatment and pipeline, the quality control, the research room, and the demonstration room. The workshops should have all these functions. So with logic, let's come back to this drawing to see where is stockroom, where is research room. There should be a candy production activity. Then where's the waste gas, waste water? So I think the polluted water, where does it go? This river looks so clean. And all the candies on the roof. So with our logic, it should have a specific area to show others the products. It should be just in the entrance. Why is on the roof? So random. This combination of candies and roofs feels so forced, so unreasonable. So with this comparison, I think we can figure out which is a good design and bad design. So let's make a summary. All of these functionality, narrative, roles, history, weather, geometry, and culture, from all these different angles, we can figure out whether the design of the concept is good or not. So let's see this. This is a template of level design planning map. We, from different angles, find the different elements, reference, or plans before we start the actual production phase. I will show you step by step later on.